Hello and welcome to the Business Reporter. I'm Alistair Greener and today we're discussing the investment opportunities of property in Orlando and Central Florida. And joining me is Garrett Kenny from Feltrim Group. Good morning.
Good morning, Alistair.
So when we're looking to invest in property, what are the sort of questions we should be asking?
Alistair, I think it does fall on those three famous words: location, location, location. And in Orlando, Florida, we definitely have the location.
But you say that we still hear about so many property businesses failing.
Yes, Alistair, you're correct. But, in business, there are no free lunches. And it's very, very important that the buyer will do some of their own research. Research is a very, very important key factor, not just on the area, but on the property as well.
The thing is, you can do that research if it's in your own city or in your own country. I mean, this is long distance. How can anybody be sure that they're getting the right information by doing that?
Alistair, local expert knowledge. Like, the internet is a great tool. You've got a lot of photographs, a lot of images, a lot of good stories, but nothing will ever substitute the local expert knowledge, knowing exactly what's on the ground and where exactly is the good locations versus the bad locations.
The only thing I see with that is that you've got good experts and bad experts in local areas. How can you spot the difference?
In any business, Alistair, you've got the good and the bad, and it's very, very important that the buyer asks hard questions of the so-called expert. How long has he or she been in the business? Are they operating in that particular area for a given period of time? Like myself, as an example, I'm operating in Orlando for close to 19 years. I'm no good in Miami. I'm not good in other parts of Florida, but I consider Orlando my backyard, and I know my backyard.
Okay, well, let's talk about that area, your backyard, as you call it. What is it about that area that makes it so attractive?
I think I'll give you one figure, Alistair, and that is 62 million visitors in 2014. New York had 48. So that'll give you some idea of the amount of visitors that we have yearly into the Central Florida market.
So how can you put a measurement on the value of the market there in Florida?
Well, maybe it's not me that will put the measurement, Alistair, but when I tell you that the Orlando airport has announced this year a $1.5 billion expansion to cater for further growth over the next 10 years. Disney, as an example, the Disney company spend just under $2 billion a year in marketing the area. All those companies have done a lot of market research to be able to show that they are quite confident in spending the money they're spending for the Orlando area for it to grow over the next number of years.
Okay, so let's say you've convinced me, I'm a potential buyer, and I come to you for advice and help. Talk me through the process. What's actually going to happen from here?
We can always do the phone call, we can always do the email back and forth, but Alistair, if you're really serious, I recommend you jump on a plane and you come out and you visit the area. When you come out to Orlando, we're not just going to take the time to show you a 3-bedroom house, a 4-bedroom house. We're going to show you the area and all the economic activity that's happening in that area. That's very, very important for you as a buyer to understand what exactly is happening in that area.
And typically, how long would it take to find a property that's suitable?
If you're a serious buyer, Alistair, and you've done a little bit of work in advance, like by either phone or email with ourselves, honestly, 3 to 4 days would be the maximum. Usually take the first day to look at the properties. By the end of that first day, you'll have a very, very good feeling as to what you want to buy. Then we'll help you open a bank account, talk to the tax advisors, maybe apply for a mortgage if you need one. So 3 to 4 days is a good time frame to make a commitment.
And then it comes to the decision-making process. How much time do we have for that?
Well, Alistair, I don't want it to appear as a sales technique, but like, good properties do sell. And that doesn't necessarily mean Orlando. No matter where you are, a good property will always sell. So it could be there tomorrow, it could be there next week, it might be there in a month's time. But if it's a good property, it meets the criteria that you've been looking for, you can buy that property within a week or 2 weeks, depending on how serious you are when you want to make that commitment.
The skeptics amongst people are going to remind you of the financial crash that affected the property business, and they're going to be a little bit nervous as a result of that. So how do you see the current state of the market and then look forward into the future to, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
Very, very good question, Alistair. And I think, let me give you an example. The state of Florida is slightly bigger than the UK when it comes to land mass size. Population of the UK, about 67 million. Population of Florida, 20 million. Florida is the third most populous state in the USA. California, Texas, and then Florida with 20 million. When you have got the likes of Disney, Universal, all the major theme parks investing money in the area, one example would be Universal. I think they recently, when they opened the Harry Potter Phase 2, they invested 300 million in that venture. Alistair, those big companies are doing your market research. They are pouring in millions upon millions into the local economy. That's certainly good enough for me when I'm investing in my real estate in the Orlando area.
Well, it's been a fascinating insight into the property values and market in Orlando and Central Florida. Garrett Kenny from Feltrim Group, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Alistair. Thank you very much.